All right, what's up, everyone? Let's dive right in. Today, we're going to talk about a time when three absolute legends living in Vienna basically hit the reset button on all of music. Yep, I'm talking about Vienna's classicism, and trust me, this is the OG music revolution. Okay, let's be real for a second. Have you ever put on some music and your brain just kind of goes into overload? There's just so much going on at once. Well, turns out a few hundred years back, a ton of people felt the exact same way about the music that was popular then. And that's exactly the problem this whole new style of music was designed to fix. So before this whole thing kicked off, the big style in music was something called Baroque. And man, it was complex. The best way I can describe it? Imagine trying to follow like 10 different conversations in a group chat all at once. Total chaos, right? That's Baroque. But then, along comes this new classical style, and it was all about being clear, simple, and catchy. It was like going from that chaotic group chat to one single viral video that everybody gets in like 2 seconds. And where did all this go down? Well, the main stage for this epic musical shift was just one city, Vienna. See, back in the 18th century, if you were a serious musician, Vienna was the place to be, like no question. It was pretty much the music capital of the world, and all the best talent from all over Europe was flocking there. So this new sound, it totally didn't happen by accident. Nope, it was following a brand new playbook, a fresh set of rules that made everything feel, balanced, logical, and honestly, just sound amazing. Okay, so rule number one was this thing called homophony. I know, it sounds super technical, but trust me, it's easy. It just means there's one clear main melody, and then everything else is kind of the backup. It's like a viral video that everyone's reacting to instead of a messy group chat where everyone's just spamming random memes. You've got one clear star of the show, and everyone knows who to listen to. These composers also came up with this awesome formula for their songs called sonata form. And honestly, the best way to get it is to think of it like a video game level. Seriously. First up, you have the exposition. This is where you meet your main musical ideas. Think of them as your heroes. Then you hit the development. This is the boss battle, right? The themes get all mixed up, challenged, it's intense. And finally, you get the recapitulation. That's when your main themes return in total victory, the hero's triumphant return. It's basically a perfect story arc just told with music. So, who were the masterminds behind all these new rules? It's time to meet the three GOATs, the greatest of all time of Viennese Classicism. First up, we've got Joseph Haydn. People call him the father of the symphony for a reason. He was the innovator, the guy who basically laid down all the tracks and perfected the whole genre. I mean, just look at his high score, over 100 symphonies. That's insane. And his special move? He dropped these little musical jokes and surprises right into his pieces. The guy clearly had a sense of humor, and his whole vibe was just cheerful and super witty. All right, next up, a name I guarantee you've heard before. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. This guy was the definition of a prodigy. He was composing for kings and queens when he was like 5 years old. It's nuts. His high score? He dropped masterpieces in literally every single genre of music. And his special move was just legendary. He could hear a super complex piece of music one time and then write it all down perfectly from memory. Just wild. His vibe is all about elegance, beauty, and just packed with pure emotion. And look, he wasn't just writing pretty tunes. Mozart totally changed the game when it came to opera. Before him, opera characters could feel a little flat, like cardboard cutouts. But Mozart's music? It gave them real, messy human feelings and complex personalities. One minute he's writing for a heartbroken countess, the next for a sneaky servant. He mixed comedy and drama to tell these super relatable stories that actually felt like real life. And that brings us to our third GOAT, Ludwig van Beethoven. Okay, so I love this analogy. If Haydn built the house and Mozart decorated it perfectly, Beethoven was the guy who came in and just started knocking down walls. He was the rebel, the game changer. His special move was basically taking the emotional volume knob and cranking it all the way up. His music is just powerful, heroic, and so intense. Now, what makes Beethoven's story just so mind-blowing is that his whole life was this epic battle against silence. Early on, he was a famous piano virtuoso, a total rock star in Vienna. But then, his hearing started to fade. And you know what's crazy? As his hearing got worse, his music got even more heroic, more epic. It was like he was fighting back with his compositions. By the end of his career, he was completely deaf, and yet, that's when he composed some of the most profound, incredible music in all of history. He heard all of it perfectly, just in his head. In total, he wrote 9 symphonies. And that last one, number 9, well, that one changed everything. So what was the big deal? Why was it such a game changer? For his 9th symphony, Beethoven did something no one had ever done before in a symphony. He added a full choir and vocal soloists. Okay, I know, that might not sound super wild to us today, but back then, it was absolutely unheard of. It was a total mic drop moment that just blew everyone's minds and basically kicked the door open to the next era of music. So let's just do a quick side-by-side of our big 3. You've got Haydn, the innovator, with his cheerful and witty vibe, who perfected the symphony and gave us the foundation. Then there's Mozart, the prodigy, all elegant and emotional, known for that insane melodic beauty. He became the standard of genius. And finally, Beethoven, the rebel, dramatic, intense, always pushing boundaries. He was the bridge to the future. All right, so this stuff happened over 200 years ago. Totally fair to ask, why should we care? Why does this music, for real, still slap today? Okay, here's the bottom line. The Vienna crew, as I'm calling them, created the blueprint for pretty much all the Western music that came after. I'm talking everything from epic movie scores to your favorite pop songs. They also established the whole idea of a composer being an independent artist, not just some servant working for a rich person. And yeah, for anyone learning an instrument today, their work is still like the final boss. But most importantly, that awesome mix of clarity and pure emotion, it just works. It still connects with listeners all over the world. So, at the end of the day, this wasn't just some random moment in music history. It really was, and I'm quoting here, a golden age of creativity that shaped the sound of the world. That is a massive deal, and it's exactly why we're still talking about these guys today. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought, a little challenge for you. If Haydn, the witty innovator, Mozart, the elegant prodigy, and Beethoven, the intense rebel, if they formed a band today, what would you call them? Seriously, think about it. What would their band name be? Anyway, that's all for this one. Thanks for hanging out.